Fun fact, when I heard that they were making another remake of this movie, I literally threw up. I already felt sick at the time of hearing this news. I just find it funny that that ended up being the tipping point.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Day of the Dead follows a small group of survivors during the zombie apocalypse who are living in an underground bunker. They are struggling to find more survivors, and there are scientists in the bunker who are conducting these mad experiments on the undead, which leads to some conflict. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this movie yet, something you should know going in is that Day of the Dead isn't very heavily action-based. It's really mostly comprised of scenes where characters are just interacting with each other and talking to each other. Honestly, though, the character interactions are my favorite aspect of this movie. It kind of feels like an early blueprint for The Walking Dead. Whenever you're getting to know the main heroes, they are very likable, although very flawed, and you get the sense that they are the most sane people in the bunker. Yes, even the one who ends up going crazy. And on the flip side, the main villain of this movie, the man who's in charge, is very much the epitome of a character that I love to hate. He is one of the most insufferable dickheads that I've seen in a movie. Even the people who are on his side don't really care for him. And, I mean, it's not very far-fetched. I've seen examples in real life where large groups of people were willing to follow some crazy asshole even against their better interests. I do like how he's not a one-dimensional character, though. The reason that he's acting crazy and being a dick in the first place is because whenever they're going out to collect these zombies for the scientists to experiment on, his men are risking their lives, and, well, he doesn't like that. Another interesting character in this movie is this mad scientist who has been given the nickname Dr. Frankenstein. These experiments that he's conducting are gruesome and disturbing, and there are certain things that he does which kind of go over the edge as far as just human decency is concerned, but whenever he's talking to the main characters about his experiments, he's just so enthusiastic and gleeful about it that it's kind of charming. But let's not forget about the best character in the entire movie, and that is Bud the zombie. Basically, Dr. Frankenstein has trained Bud to remember what it was like to be a human being and to mimic some of his old behaviors. And it's nothing new for zombies in this universe to retain some fraction of a memory of what they used to be. Like in Dawn of the Dead, zombies were going to the mall because they used to go there all the time when they were alive. The most amazing thing about this character, as somebody in this movie points out, is what he's not doing. Whenever somebody enters the same room as him, he doesn't try to attack them. He doesn't see them as food. He's basically the zombie equivalent of a domesticated dog. And even though Bud doesn't end up getting that much screen time, there was a point in the movie where I genuinely felt sorry for him. I'm not going to say that there were tears, but I totally cried like a bitch. When it comes to the special effects, this movie takes place during a time where it's been a while since the start of the apocalypse, and some of the zombies look downright amazing. You get more varying stages of decay, and they definitely look a lot more real than the ones from Dawn of the Dead. I wouldn't say that they're quite as good as the ones from The Walking Dead, but they are pretty damn close. And while, as I said, there's more talking than action in this movie, the finale features some very hard-hitting zombie gore. I mean, there's one point where this guy gets his head ripped off, and as his vocal cords are being stretched, his screams get more and more higher pitched. It's pretty crazy. By the way, is it really spoiling the movie when I say that the villain eventually gets his comeuppance? It's basically like saying a Disney movie has a happy ending. You know that it's going to happen, and Day of the Dead features one of the coolest and most satisfying villain deaths I have ever seen. In the end, I would recommend Day of the Dead to anyone who would like to see something with an interesting character-driven story, as well as those who go into zombie movies for the blood and gore. As long as you possess some patience, you are going to get what you came for, and then some. And that's all I've got to say about this movie. I hope you all have a good one. I'm starting to notice that the more and more I say that end phrase, the faster it gets. I wonder if it's eventually going to get to the point where I'm just like, in the end, I recommend this movie to such and such a crowd.